Okay, and the final story here is just happened today. There was a launch of a Russian Soyuz spacecraft carrying three astronauts, cosmonauts to the space station, and they're joining three other astronauts that have been on the station for about 200 days now. And so the crew is the Russian commander in the center, and an American astronaut on the right. Her name is, I've forgotten her first name. Her last name is Meyer. And she will be on board the station for about 6 months, she and the Russian commander. On the left is the very first cosmonaut, astronaut from the United Arab Emirates. And he will be on the station for about 9 days. And so he will come back with the crew that will be departing the station at the end of next week. I think it's October 3rd is when they depart the station. So they launched from the same launch pad that Yuri Gagarin launched from in 1961, and this is called the Gagarin Start launch pad at Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, and this is expected to be the last launch from this launch pad. They're hoping to change the pad for future versions of the Soyuz rocket, and that may or may not happen, but at any rate, this is the last time one of these missions will launch from this location. And so it was about 7, 8 o'clock this morning, our time, the Soyuz launched successfully. This is just a nice close-up view of that taking off. It was nighttime in Kazakhstan. And this is just an amazing shot. It was taken from the International Space Station looking out one of the windows. And so here's the plume from the rocket, and here's the rocket firing, the third stage of the rocket carrying the Soyuz into orbit. And that's quite impressive. So it was about 6 hours later, they did dock successfully with the space station, and I expect they're getting their sea legs, so to speak, right as we speak right now. I lied, that wasn't my last story, but I just wanted to give you a heads up. We talked about this last month, where SpaceX and Elon Musk are in the process of starting testing on their next big thing, which is called Starship. And Starship is this huge rocket that so here's the Starship part, and then this is the super heavy rocket that they're building, and combined this is about 400 feet tall, and it will be the largest rocket ever launched. And so last month we talked about the first test of components of this, and this was called Star Hopper, and it lifted off from its launch pad in Boca Chica, Texas, and it climbed about 150 meters and translated 100 meters or so to the side, and then landed under its own power. And they're expecting the full-up Starship model to start test flights next month. And so this was taken this afternoon in Texas. So here's the base of this thing. Well, maybe we can see it. The pointy one off to the left, that will be in the next day, will be attached to the top of the rocket itself. And The first test flight they expect will go up about 20 kilometers altitude and then return and land under its own power again. But what I wanted to post for you was for those of you that are really interested in this, on Saturday, and I don't know the time yet because they haven't released it, but Elon Musk is going to be doing a press conference about their plans for testing this. And if you're interested, just Google Elon Musk Starship test or something like that. But this is the a web link that should be covering or doing streaming video of the press conference. And by the way, this image is one provided by SpaceX of their intended ultimate target, which is to build a colony on Mars. And so each one of these is a starship that's landed on Mars. So I'll leave it at that. If you're interested, go to Spaceflight Now and see the press conference.